Hey, what's up everybody, and welcome back to the channel. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. I sure am. I just got a new shirt today from Dunder Mifflin representing today.
I declare bankruptcy!
And if you already didn't know, The Office is one of my favorite TV shows of all time, so I just love it whenever I get, new merch from them, so yeah. But yeah, let's get right into this video. For today's video, guys, we're going to be talking about the don'ts of Mexico. And so I have 10 things that you should not do in Mexico, so let's get right into the video. So the first don't I have for you guys is for you English native speakers. And so if you've ever seen some words in Spanish, and in English, they might just, seem like the exact same, and you think they might have the exact same meaning. But don't be fooled. Spanish does have a lot of what they call false friends in the language, and so words like excited and then excitado in Spanish, they kind of sound the same, but they have different meanings. Also, the words embarrassed. If you're a native English speaker, you might want to say embarrassed in Spanish, but you might say I don't know how white people would say it, but embarazado, which more or less translates to pregnant in Spanish, so definitely don't do that. So just be aware that a lot of words are in a sense false friends, and although they sound the same, they will have sometimes different meanings. The second don't I have for you guys is sort of similar to that, but it has to do with cuss words. For some reason, I don't know why or how or what it is about it, but Spanish words, they just sound a whole lot more terrible. They just sound worse, they just mean worse things. For example, in English, if you tell someone oh, your mom, or if you tell someone like fuck off or something, it's not really that bad, but in Spanish, if you were to say that chinga tu madre, that would be one of the worst things you could say to somebody. And so definitely be aware of those. So definitely, if you do make some friends in Mexico, or you're talking to someone, be aware that you might not be able to cuss at them right off the bat, or in a friendly manner right off the bat, just because cuss words are very, very harsh in Spanish for some reason. Another example would be the word stupid. If you call someone stupid in English, it's whatever, not a big deal. But if you call someone stupid in Spanish, it's it's pretty bad, and you just don't want to do that, because you would probably really offend that person if you were to do that. So definitely just be aware of that. Don't come to Mexico just start cussing. And the third don't I have for you guys is don't assume it's always safe to cross the road just because you see that little green man on the on the sign. A lot of times in Mexico, drivers just don't care. They just don't give a fuck. And so they will sometimes just take reds purposely. This happens a lot with buses, because buses, they have a route that they need to get to, and a schedule to meet that certain route at. And sometimes if they're behind 5 minutes, they're potentially losing money, the drivers are. And so so sometimes you will see a lot of buses just take reds just like that, and they don't really care. Other things, sometimes the drivers just aren't very kind, or they're not really mindful of the pedestrians. So definitely though, if you are in Mexico, be careful, be really, really careful when crossing the street, because sometimes it's just not safe to do it, even if the light tells you that it's okay to go. The fourth don't I have for you guys is don't drink the tap water in Mexico. When you drink water in Mexico, make sure it is bottled water, and if you have ice in your drinks, make sure the ice is filtered. So if you do go to a restaurant and you order water, it'll most likely come in a bottled water, but always just double check and make sure that the seal and the cap is hasn't been broken yet, because you don't want to risk the people just refilling the water with tap water or anything. And the reason for this is because the tap water in Mexico will make you sick. It'll make you throw up and whatnot, and you just don't want to do that when you trip there. So definitely just drink bottled water, never drink tap water. And the next don't I have for you guys is, if you are visiting Mexico, don't just visit Cancun. There's so many other different places in Mexico to visit. And the reason I say this is because a lot of people especially from the US, especially a lot of white people from the US, they'll visit Mexico, but they only go to Cancun, and then they'll say that they visited Mexico, but in reality, Cancun is really in a way whitewashed, and it's tailored for the tourist. And there are just so many other different places to visit Mexico, and beautiful places, a lot more beautiful than Cancun. Although Cancun is very beautiful, There's places that are just simply just more beautiful and like a lot more culture. Definitely Cancun is just, is really just made for the tourists from all over the world that come, and definitely in a sense Cancun is it's like America in a way. It's like it's not the real Mexico, I wouldn't say. And the next don't along with that is if you're flying into Mexico, do not lose your immigration card, because if you do lose it and when you try to fly out of Mexico, they will charge you for a replacement. But if you were to drive in through like the border, you're not gonna really need one. But this is only if you're flying in and out of Mexico. But I will say you don't really need your immigration card when you're inside Mexico. It's just like for when you get there and when you leave. So just if you don't want to pay a fee, just don't lose the card. The next don't I have for you guys is don't expect the Mexican food to be just like the Mexican food that you have at your home country, because chances are it's going to be very different. Because if you haven't had the opportunity to actually eat like real Mexican food from like a real like Mexican family or like someone who's actually like Mexican, chances are your Mexican food isn't going to be like really real Mexican food. And just for example, like for here in the US, I live in a Mexican household, and so we eat Mexican food every single day, but we never eat Mexican food like at a Mexican restaurant, just because a lot of times Mexican food in Mexican restaurants, especially in the US, they're not really real Mexican food. They're always like tailored for like white people essentially. With that being said, also Chipotle, you're not fucking real Mexican food, all right? So don't fucking go to Chipotle. But also guys, if you do go to Mexico, you're just be prepared. The food is just gonna be so much better than like the Mexican food you've had in your home country. I will say that, because you will be eating real authentic Mexican food. And the next tip along with that, if you are eating in a Mexican restaurant or just any restaurant in Mexico, please tip, especially tip. Tipping in Mexico isn't how it is in Europe. It's more or less how it is in the US. People that work in restaurants, aren't really paid all that too well. And so they really do rely on your tip. And also, not only just restaurants, but like hotel, like keepers and whatnot, they also rely on your tip as well. So if you are staying in a hotel, please, leave a tip for the person cleaning up after you. And if you are extremely more messy, leave an even bigger tip, please. The 9th tip I have for you guys is if don't drive if you don't have to. The buses, work, fairly well in Mexico to get you from city to city. I would strongly suggest not to drive, just because of the fact that policemen, if you are pulled over, and you do receive a ticket from the policeman, they will make you pay that like right on the spot. If you are like not a local, if you're a foreigner, they'll make you pay that right on the spot. And a lot of times, like the police in Mexico aren't, very like too honest, and so like most times they'll try to cheat you out of money. So definitely don't drive if you don't have to. And also along with that is if you are renting a car, and depending on where you're driving, it might not be too safe, because you might not know the roads, and people just drive a lot crazier in Mexico. So definitely it'll be somewhat dangerous, in the sense that like all the locals know how to drive, and they're used to driving and you're not used to driving in Mexico. So definitely just be careful with that. So I would just strongly suggest just not to rent a car if you don't have to. The very last don't I have for you guys is probably one of the most important ones. Don't expect the price you see on things to be the actual final price, with the exception of like actual like retail stores. Like if you go to Walmart, like they'll make you pay that actual price. But what I'm referring to is in Mexico, there's a lot of like shops like that just pop up and are like like in a sense like little like markets, and so every time you go to buy something, be prepared to haggle them down. Like be prepared to like negotiate the price, because like say there's a shirt and it's like 50 pesos and you don't want to pay 50 pesos, you could most likely talk them down to like 25 pesos. And I know that might get kind of annoying, but that's just the deal down there in Mexico. And also a pro tip to go along with that is when you are getting into taxis, don't just get into the taxi and then tell them where you want to go and then go. Negotiate the price before you even get inside the taxi, because I've been in situations and I've seen situations where there's just like a big row of taxis, and you just gotta ask every single one, like just go down the row of taxis and like ask them like, yo, how much to get to this place, and then like if somebody tells you a price that you think is too high, just just ask the next person, and then eventually someone will like say a lower price, or you just negotiate with them. Alright, you guys, so I try to make this video as fast as possible. I know like I've been making like pretty long videos lately, and I know I'm sure you guys don't like that, but either way though, thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did enjoy the video, please guys leave a thumbs up, and if you are new to the channel, please subscribe. It means so much to me. We're almost at 500 subs, and so if we hit 500 subs, I got something special for you guys. And also don't forget, follow me on Instagram, and also follow the blog as well. The blog's going really well. Alright, so I see you guys next time. Peace.